This is Bola at Mama episode 4, and this is what goes on behind the scenes just before the show gets started. We discuss, and there you have it, behind the scenes of Bola at Mama. Players sacked. Disaster yet again with Peter Butler and his Terengganu team. Lightning up the BPL last weekend is this fella. He's on fire. Plus, what's stopping our local football from becoming privatized? Hello and welcome to episode 4 of Bola at Mama. And as usual, we have tons of topics to be talking about, from local football to English football to a little bit of Spanish here and there, and everything football. So the regular customers here, you know, Stanley Bennett, Craig Moraes and Ross Yusof. And today making his debut is Mr. Christopher Raj. Bravo, welcome.
Thank you, thank you.
How are you?
Thank you. Very good, how are you?
I'm good. I'm very excited to be back on the show. And the thing is,
I can see.
You are Mr. Jack of all trades. So could you introduce yourself as, how would we refer to you? We refer to you.
It's a tough question, huh?
Which hat have you got on today?
Well, it is just, you know, I have my own sports PR agency. It's called Shekhinah PR. And being the CEO of the agency for the last 2 years, we are currently, of course, the leading agency in the country. We're expanding in Southeast Asia, and I'm also a consultant to Cardiff City Football Club.
Yeah, that's where I see you. So familiar.
Yeah, so I've been on Cardiff City since last year, January, and basically we are into sports consultancy, etc. So I'm still passionate. Harimau Malaya, biggest fan.
Yes, we're all Harimau Malaya fans. And since you're here today, let me introduce you to this really like famous segment. Everybody loves this segment. Did you see that? Starting in Italy and
It's Adam C. What's he doing there?
Well, that's Cassano and a wicked deflection.
Nice goal.
Knew what he was doing there, didn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Nothing to do with luck.
No, none at all.
Well, quite a ping pong here. Free kick, bounces off 2 heads, off the post, into the net.
Shades of Des Cocky there.
Just because he's not here, you guys. Now, UEFA Super Cup, and check this out. Miss and another miss. Now, that really doesn't do justice to Falcao, though he was on fire the entire match. Hat-trick, right?
Yeah, show the 3 that went in.
We should know when it is. And moving on to some screamers now. And woof!
Oh, pick that one out.
Check that out.
And a half-hit ball, got it?
Yellow card.
Another one in Germany, and Luis Gustavo.
Nice.
Keeper didn't even see it coming. Can you guys do this?
Oh, no backlift.
No?
Stanley can do that.
Stanley?
Well, Stanley with his leg properly.
What other leagues
Without
can do?
hitting target.
Barcelona can, of course, do better.
Nice.
Adriano with a bullet.
100% record maintained.
And over to Real Madrid now. And who else scored but Cristiano Ronaldo?
Unhappy?
But that's not the highlight, though. Now,
I'm not sure whether he's striking.
His refusal to celebrate.
No, he's sad. He's sad.
Okay. Ask Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Ask Real Madrid. Don't ask us.
The people in the power, they know.
They
Why?
know.
Why is he
Not
sad?
us.
He's making lots of money, he's good looking, he's got a hot girlfriend.
But is he making enough? That's the question.
He's got an extravagant lifestyle to live, hasn't he? He needs a couple of 100 million in the bank.
He's been struggling with his mortgage, apparently.
And apparently, Adlin, you can never make too much money.
You can never make
He's
too
struggling
much
to make
money.
ends meet,
That's
isn't
right. Yeah. So anyway, back. We're going to start off the show with some local football, and you know, 3 players got sacked from Terengganu. Peter Butler, of course, sacked them because of discipline problems. And our producer tried to get in touch with Peter Butler today to get a comment from him. However, he refused to comment. But he apparently sent an email to Harish Deol, and this is what Harish Deol had to say to our producer.
Hey Harish, you've been in touch with Peter Butler.
So, Muslim and Ismail breaking the curfew. Tell us what really happened.
He sent me a quite lengthy email. It's more of a situation where he claims something else and the players are claiming another thing altogether. But I think, as what Peter Butler has stressed in his email, it's more with regards to the fact that they broke the 11 p.m. curfew rather than anything else.
Peter's goalkeeper, Shabani, dropped for a howler. What is Peter suspecting him of, and is Shabani sacked?
Let's not go into that road, shall we? Because each time, whenever a player does not perform to his level best, or a team does not perform, or a team loses, in fact, the easy way out is to actually claim that, somebody is being paid off and yada yada yada. But all this, we need concrete evidence. But I do know this for a fact that both have not been seeing eye to eye for quite some time. So perhaps it's something else rather than what exactly transpired on the pitch.
And Peter Butler, he's been getting threats all over the place. How is he dealing with it?
He's no stranger to all this. Furthermore, he's played with the big boys. He should know how is it like, how emotional some people can get. Threats do remain threats until and unless something actually happens. Perhaps it's just mere words. People are frustrated, people are angry. I think Peter is grown up enough to know how to handle such situations.
Harish Deol, editor of Astro Awani, thank you for talking to us.
No problem.
So that was Harish Deol's breakdown of the
You
email
know
that Peter
what's
Butler
really
sent.
worrying? Peter Butler trusts Harish Deol. He's a trusted journalist.
Well, what I'm quite surprised is that I think over the past few days we've seen a lot from Peter Butler talking out to the media on Twitter, via Twitter. He didn't want to make it.
Vocal about it.
Well, he didn't want to make a comment about it to us, so I'm quite surprised about that. But in saying that, I think he's made the right decisions. I think curfews are there for a reason. You've got a big match coming up. They're there for a reason, not for you to violate them. And clearly these guys have broken the curfew. They come back late for whatever reason. And they should be punished. Whether they should be sacked or not, I'm not sure. Whether it's their first time or not is another thing as well.
Yeah. Right.
I think that's separate from the goalkeeper incident.
It's a completely different issue.
For me,
we'll talk about Muslim and Ismail first. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, those two, the way I understand it, it's a breaking a curfew thing. And if they did, then they should be punished.
Well,
according to Muslim, that he was out getting Panadol for Ismail who was sick.
Okay.
Well, I think the benefit of doubt should be given to the players. And I think, Butler as a coach, he had his reasons. And I will agree with, our fellow colleagues here to say that, you can't compromise on discipline. We don't compromise on discipline, especially before the game. And it is an important game as well. And you being a professional player, you should take this kind of matters seriously than just to break the rules and break the curfew hours and do whatever you need to. Whatever the issues are, that is separate. But I think the players should have equal respect for the teammates as well.
Stanley, as a player, what's your take on this?
Well, I think any player should respect the coaches. Whatever coach, every coach has their own style, so he has his set of rules. Whether he does it with an iron fist or he's a more laid-back coach. But the only thing I think a bit of a problem there is the way he approached this problem. I think you should handle it internally first, like meeting with his manager, with his president, doing a team meeting, and saying, before he goes to the media. That's the only thing where I think the papers knew first before many people in the team knew.
Well, he did that the other way around, didn't he? The manager didn't even know about it until it came out in the paper, so he knew probably the same time as all of us, which is definitely not the right way to go about it. But if you're looking to be a bit professional about it, there's also a professional way to approach things. And I do think it was handled wrong as well. But I think the two players have to face the consequences.
Well, in this year, especially this year's contract and the players' contract, there's a certain clause where it says you have a certain limit to go to the media and speak about how much you can speak about a team. Yeah. You need to get your coaches, head coaches permission, managers permission. So whether it's Awani or Astro comes to the players and say, hey, look what's going on in the dressing room. For a player, he's got his limits unless he gets an approval from the upper management. So I think it applies same to the coach. He has to apply the same. So yeah.
But it's kind of like a pattern because wherever Butler goes, there's always drama.
Well, yeah. He's no stranger to controversy, is he? With Kelantan, you look at Kelantan, you look at the team in Indonesia he was in charge of. I don't want to say something that might get some people angry. But like I said, he's no stranger to it. So maybe his approach or his style is not suited to the way things are dealt over here. I think if he's like you said, ruling with an iron fist, I don't think it's so much that. But he wants to be professional about things. I think Malaysian football is a lot more laid back than it is compared to Europe.
Yeah.
And he's trying to bring the European style over here. I don't think it works. But you look at other coaches who have been successful over here, like Boyan and stuff. They understand. They know. They know. They can adapt to the culture over here. They realise there's a difference between European football and Malaysian football. There's a difference between European players and Asian players.
Yeah.
So you need to have that balance. Yes, you have to set your rules, but at the same time, you know, you can't rule with an iron fist because it just doesn't work like that over here.
Right. And the other player, of course, under the spotlight is Shekhinah Alawi, because right after the Malaysia Cup match, he was upset because of Shekhinah's fumble, and he pushed Shekhinah.
For me, that was a bit out of order, because
that
it was
was a
all
bit harsh.
I mean, for us, the public, we all saw it on TV.
It's a
We
spectacle
saw
on TV.
the
Definitely.
finger pointing. I understand you're angry and all that, but again, I mean, okay, benefit of the doubt, heat of the moment, big game, but still, again, handle it differently.
I think he could have handled it better.
Yeah.
You know, I think being an experienced coach, and yes, you are frustrated. The goalkeeper played in such a manner, but then again, you know the player. You know, at the end of the day, the manager or the coach knows the player's abilities.
Yeah.
And it's not the first time the keeper has played in that manner or has performed in such a way.
Yeah.
So why do you feel him?
Yeah.
You know, so you have to take equal blame or to the players that you feel. But saying that your frustrations, I think
You
there are
gotta keep
better
that in
ways
the
to-
changing room,
Yeah,
don't you?
exactly.
You got, I mean,
Exactly.
like, you know the cameras are, the camera's on you. He
Yeah.
knows the camera's on him. You can't, I mean, the finger pointing he did, but the contact with the
shoving,
player I
yeah.
think was worse. The
Shoving.
shoving.
Yeah.
You can't do
that
that.
took me aback when I saw that. I was
You
like,
can't do
whoa.
that. Like, it was shades of Di Canio managing Swindon.
Yeah, but can you imagine if it's the vice versa? The player got replaced and he pushed the coach because he came out.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how bad that could be? So the impact should be the same.
Exactly.
The
But
mutual
you know,
respect.
It's a mutual
Yeah,
respect.
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, yes, he's made a howler, but Shabini's still a human being, you know?
Yeah.
And you
So,
don't,
but that's what Shabini said. He said, look,
If it
I
happened in
think
a dressing room or something,
I'm already in a situation where I've got replaced. I did a mistake. I did a howler, and then coming off and getting pushed. I'm a human being as well in front of 50,000 fans.
it should at least be done in the changing room.
Oh, definitely. Anything
I mean,
should
whatever-
not,
Private,
not,
yeah.
not be done out on the
Whatever
field.
happens in the dressing room is between the players and the
Exactly.
and that stays.
Exactly.
You know, it's not even for the media to know.
Exactly.
But when you do openly such a way, it's for everybody to
Well,
see.
you're inviting
And you can't blame the
articles to
media
start
to write.
coming out in the media. You're inviting media pressure. I'm pretty sure if that happened in the changing room, the death threats wouldn't have happened as well.
Definitely, because people saw when most of the Facebook comments, most of the people out there, our fans, actually agree with you guys. Kashana Sundaresan, if it's true, then deserve, but still doesn't justify the need to go public. Everybody agrees that it should be done privately. Abdul Muradi Hafiz Muhammad says if they are guilty, they should be punished, but never do it in the public. It's really hard for Terengganu fans, as those 3 players are born and bred in Terengganu.
Yeah,
So
good point.
you know, the whole nation
Exactly.
is, I mean, the whole state is behind them. Nizam Archibald now don't have to go blast it in the media, and Carlos Bunting only if the players are found guilty of those charges. So
The other thing is we haven't heard the other side of the story as well.
Yeah.
So they must have a chance to prove themselves as well.
All
So
that we know, the players have engaged the lawyers, you know, to represent their rights. But then again, you know, I believe Terengganu Football Association should have their own disciplinary committee hearing.
Well, investigation,
Yeah,
definitely.
investigation and investigate the matter, and leave it best to the committee to I mean, if they can decide what needs to be done, then obviously the players have the player status committee to bring up the charges to, and then the player status committee FM can also deliberate on the matter.
yeah, and Safi Salih, of course, national top striker, he's also come out and he's in support of players, and this is his statement. This is what he has to say. So Safi said the recent controversy involving 2 Terengganu players highlights the need for such an association. I sympathize with them for having to put up with such a shameful situation. And the association he's talking about is the Professional Football Association of Malaysia. I remember it being launched in 2009. When you were there, I was there, we were there, right?
Yes.
But how important is this association in defending or protecting players? Because
Well, in any
Invisible at the
it's been
moment.
quite quiet. What?
Invisible.
Invisible, exactly, yeah.
thing in any country, especially we have a professional setup, PFA is a must. The only thing is how professional you want it to be and who are the people managing this association. That plays a part. In most countries, professional player setup is led by former players. You look at England, it was all the legends who are managing the professional association, and it's a way of moving forward. In Malaysia, it's managed by businessmen, people who have no idea of the game, who are not into the game, who don't know the rules and regulation, who don't know the statutes of the game and statutes of the players. So I don't blame Safi Salih for coming out and making such a statement.
Exactly.
I don't blame him.
Because he wants players to be protected.
And I remember in 2009 when they launched the association, one of the concerns were whether enough awareness are there. I mean, simple things like players' insurance, protecting players' rights.
Whether
it's there. It was never there, exactly. So, I believe FA of Malaysia should get involved, even though PFA is an independent body. But because they come under Fifth Pro, you can have a separate entity and still governed by the National Association.
Are you registered under PFA?
I was the Exco member when they launched it, one of the first, because they launched it after the 2009 Manchester-Malaysia game, and a few of us were selected. So yeah, but then it just disappeared.
It's silent, right? It's basically, are they active?
No, they're not.
No,
they're not. Even the guy who was running it has left.
Yeah.
He's not even in FM right now. He's left, and nobody knows what happened exactly.
So
that's the problem.
Right.
But that is the problem. Like when no one cares about it for 8 months of the year or 6 months of the season, but all it takes is one game for a situation like this to happen, or in either of the players' cases, and everyone's like, oh, where's anyone to protect them? Why wasn't this kept going on from 2009? I mean, it was only 3 years ago.
Do you think now it's time that they should step in?
They've done it. They launched it. So even if they were to step in now, what's to say it's going to be around next year?
Yeah. By right, the PFA, if only been active now, these two incidents on Ismail and Muslim, the PFA could have defended the players.
No doubt, without doubt. Without doubt.
The players could have gone to them for advice. And
to see what the next step of course of action is.
Whether you need a legal assistance.
Exactly.
And PFA usually engages the lawyers and all that. So he could have protected the players.
PFA is supposed to be the lawyers to the players, the first step of players. So PFA is supposed to be run directly under Fifth Pro. All right, so it's the players' committees. But then it just disappeared in Malaysia. I mean,
well,
it was
if
there.
you pay Craig and I enough money, we'll sort it all out.
We'll consider it.
We'll drive around the country and tie up a bit.
As an Exco member, what was your role? Like that?
Making the awareness to the players, my fellow colleagues. So what we did, like 2009, during my team days, we had some financial problem as well towards the end of my team. So that's when we started explaining to the players what's PFA's role. We were trying to start it. That's what we were told to do. We did our part as players, but then it just
I think a lot of players also didn't buy the PFA idea. Because professional players in other countries contribute towards PFA.
That's right.
X dollars and cents from your salary goes. So that becomes like your pension scheme, your gratuity, blah, blah, blah. But in Malaysia, players are still, there are two ways. You got players who are professional who will do things to take care of themselves, even to buy insurance. And then on the other hand, you have players who don't even have insurance.
Yeah, that's sad.
Actually, one of the hardest part, according to Chris, it was right, was to explain to the players why did you need, I think it was 250
insurance
coverage, the first signing fee, membership fee, or why do we need to pay 250? I mean, like stuff like that, and then you get to go on. 250, 800 players. Wow, they're making so much money. They're not thinking.
But that is the thing. They don't. It's a long-term thing. Like in the long run, it will protect you. But I mean, in a player's career, especially in Malaysia, there's going to be a situation where it arises where you need maybe legal advice or
legal advice.
Malaysia Super League, they've got a big history of not paying players on time.
You see, so those players were right to not want to pay the 250 because it doesn't exist anymore.
You can look at it like that. What I say.
They could see the future.
So that's where the argument comes now. If they were to start one, people's going to say it's going to end up like the last one. So where do we start?
No, but the flip side of that is if the players maybe had contributed to it, so maybe if they got, say, 200 players.
We didn't even have 20% of the players, so it's very hard to run as well.
Make it compulsory. Make it...
It should be a deduction from your wages. One of the suggestions given was the players who sign as a professional player with the state teams and their contract comes to the FA to be endorsed and validated, automatically in the contract is attached, you become a member of the PFA.
Yes.
And then let's say 20 ringgit or 200 ringgit is deducted automatically from your salary to the FA association.
Okay.
But then again, you know, just like any other organization, there's always a lack of leadership. You know, I think PFA's problem is the leadership problem. It is not about running the association, it's getting the right person to lead, the right person to put the objectives, the values.
You see, we talk about privatizing football. It's not the game. It's not so much the 90-minute game we need to concentrate on in this country. Yeah, it's the infrastructure. It's the people who run football, who make up the rules and who enforce the rules. And all that needs to get professional as well.
Yeah. So all this topic came up because of Peter Butler and all the drama that's happening in Terengganu. So quick one. Any other Iron Fist managers that comes to your mind straight?
Around the world, wait.
Around the world, doesn't have to be
Ferguson,
Malaysia. Ferguson, my producer says, except Ferguson.
Except Ferguson.
Mourinho.
I think Mourinho's quite strict.
Yeah.
Or Martin O'Neill.
Martin O'Neill, Mourinho.
Yeah, Mourinho.
Chris?
Martin O'Neill.
Martin O'Neill and...
Juan de Ramos.
Juan de Ramos.
He didn't even let the players eat ketchup.
Tom Huddleston. He refused to let Tom Huddleston eat tomato ketchup.
That's how strict he was.
And he lasted one day.
Where's he? I was saying, that's why. You can't... Where is he now? No idea.
One day, yeah. That's a good one. It's a really good one. Okay, we're going to go for a short break, but coming up, Gunners finally finding the back of the net. As well as RVP making it look like ABC. Welcome back to Bola at Mama, and now it's come the time for us to talk about the big matches that went on over the weekend, starting with Liverpool versus Arsenal. And this is what Abu Dhabi and Brendan Rodgers had to say after the match.
Disappointed with the scoreline because I thought we contributed really well to the game. The first half in particular, I thought that we passed it well and made some good moments in the game.
We are really happy. We drew the first two games and we had really strong game defensively, and we just missed the occasion to realize, and that's what we've done today. So we are really happy. Yeah.
But I can't fault the players. The players are giving everything. There's a lot of them. Players' third game this week, and obviously by the end, the last 50 minutes, they're a wee bit tired.
Definitely, I think the whole team have a very, very strong game, and we need to keep going.
How do you feel about what's happened in the transfer market this week? Do you feel disappointed, let down even?
It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. It's gone. You know, I'm only really focusing on the players that are here.
Abu Dhabi was the man of the match, but let's talk about Liverpool and their senior players and how they didn't really perform well. They were not up to par as compared to the match against Manchester City the week before and against Arsenal. Completely
Reina
different.
had 3 howlers in 3 games.
They've cost goals.
Yeah.
3 mistakes,
So
3 goals.
one of the guys who have stood up for them during hard days when they didn't have good matches, at the back really strong, hasn't been performing, so it's really tough times for them.
Well, it's tough for Liverpool because this season they probably need Gerrard more than anything.
Well, this is
they need Reina more than anything.
Could it just be an off day?
Well, it's not really.
Bad
I mean,
day at the office.
I think Gerrard's reached that stage of his career. I think we saw it at the Euros as well. I mean, he had a decent Euros. Don't get me wrong. I mean, none of the England players played particularly well, but the Gerrard that we saw maybe like even 2 years ago, it's not the same guy. It's not the same player, and he's not going to be as dynamic as that. He's not going to be. You're not going to see those long bursting runs into the box anymore.
Absolutely, he has to change his game, and because you saw he still tried to
mean
play
he gotta
the
do
long
a Giggs?
passes.
Well, but exactly that. You see how Giggs modifies
Yeah,
that.
but that's what
When
I'm
Giggs
saying.
lost
I'm
his
serious
pace,
about it as
he
well.
modified
But
it.
he needs to do that. He needs to adjust to his game.
But
So
you-
Giggs
Gerrard's
was a
basically
winger
in a
going
rut
into the
then.
middle.
But you know that
Gerrard's in a rut.
No, maybe he has not found
No,
the
it's
game
just that-
yet because it's still early into the season.
No,
You know, sometimes players will take time to settle in.
Definitely.
Yeah, but maybe Steven Gerrard been there for
Definitely.
a long
But as
time.
captain,
Really
as
long
captain,
time.
as
Very
captain
long
as Liverpool
time.
FC,
Yeah.
in
But
a
you need an extra
high-profile
out
game,
of him, yes,
in a
definitely.
high-profile game against Arsenal,
Yeah.
you need him to produce at home in front of the Kop and everything.
They're going
You
to
need
have to
him
buck up. They're going to have to buck up if they want to go to LeBron James's party. You know what I'm saying? The one that he's throwing for them.
They need a cup. But maybe because they need new players.
Well, you see, the reporter alluded to it there. He said, do you feel let down? And I think
Yes, it is.
Brendan Rodgers was being really big
Oh, yeah.
by saying, no, you know,
That's right, irrelevant.
but
Well,
he has been let down.
Well, he didn't answer the question, did
Yeah,
he? He
well,
didn't answer the question.
He's been let
No,
down
I think he
badly.
answered the question. He actually answered the question. He said it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant because the transfer season has
It's
already
closed.
ended.
Yeah,
it,
it's
it wasn't
closed.
a yes or no to the question.
No, but it's
So he's just stuck with
relevant,
the
and he
players
said
he
it's
has.
time to move on. And I think, knowing the kind of manager Brendan Rodgers is, you know, I think he gives you straight answers, you know.
No, but well, we all know it's the Liverpool board's fault. Why he didn't hit. I mean, on deadline day, he lets Andy Carroll go to West Ham, okay, on loan for the season. He doesn't bring any striker in. He's got 2
He
recognised
wanted
strikers.
Tim Dempsey.
Well, he didn't get him.
Yeah, he didn't get
He
it.
didn't get him.
You know,
over £2 million, which they weren't willing to. They weren't willing to pay their £2 million.
When they were 2 down against Arsenal, Brendan Rodgers looks at the bench. He's got the sub goalie, Carragher, John Joe Shelby, or Henderson, or Downing.
Who's going to win you the game of that?
exactly.
Danny only scored his first
Right.
Liverpool goal like over the summer. I mean,
So basically the question now is, he's got senior players that are having half days and he doesn't have a backup on the bench.
But there are some bright sparks. Joe Allen's a great signing.
Raheem
That's a good
Sterling.
signing.
Raheem Sterling is great to
Raheem
watch.
Sterling.
Yeah.
Raheem Sterling has
What's
been
that
the best
Wonder
player.
kid
He's a
is-
17-year-old kid.
It's a wonder
Okay,
kid.
he's a 17-year-old kid who goes into a game. He's never played for Liverpool first team before the summer. He starts the Premier League like he's been there for years, and he puts players like Gerrard,
Yeah.
like more experienced players like at the back. You got
Probably
Agger,
that's
Skirtle,
the only
Raiders.
positive thing right
you
now.
put them
But
to
there
shame.
is a teeny weeny light at the end of the
a
tunnel.
little bit of a light.
A little bit of a light, like
there are a couple of
flashlight.
players. Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. It's
Yeah.
not the
I-
whole
I-
11
yes.
that's been letting them down.
Yeah, I hope
but
he-
it's the players that Brendan Rodgers should be banking on.
I hope
Basically,
he gets,
the
I hope
core
he
of the
gets a
team is
chance.
not there.
You know, I hope he gets given time, Brendan Rodgers. I hope they don't sack him
Yeah.
mid-season.
They don't do an
You should
AVB
give-
on him.
yeah.
I hope you don't do an
Give him time
AVB
to
on
build
him.
the team.
Yeah, oh, definitely. In saying all this, I still feel Brendan Rodgers is the right man for the job.
Yes.
But
gotta
like
give
I
him
said,
time, though.
like I said, well, no, because the board let him down. I think the board recognised this, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, John Henry came out to the press and he released, he explained why they didn't bring anyone in,
Yeah.
and that for me shows that they take responsibility of that because they really let
But
Brendan
the,
Rodgers
fact,
down.
but the fact that the president said that we will not let Andy Carroll go if we knew we couldn't bring in anyone.
Yeah, exactly.
But that looks like a horrendous mistake done. I mean, they got to survive with it at least till mid-season.
Well, the first
Till-
mistake
till
is
January.
the first mistake is you don't leave things until late, right on deadline day. You got to do your business. You look at how United and Chelsea performed their business throughout the summer.
Yeah.
They came, did their business. That's it. They were done. Deadline day, nothing.
But I understand, still unsigned at the moment. Michael Owen, Robbie Fowler, Emil Heskey. You could get the old boys back together again. Get the old
It's like a
spirit.
reunion.
Spice Boys, doing the Spice Boys again.
Spice Boys. Okay, now, moving on to Arsenal, I know this is your cup of tea. Santi Cazorla, Lucas Podolski scoring, and also they're the only team so far who hasn't conceded a goal.
Yep, I
Could
think.
this mean that they're back to their zaman kegemilangan, you know, like
No, I don't
back
think so. They
then?
are back to zaman kegemilangan. I like that word. But I think finally Arsene Wenger has made a wise decision to buy players, to spend money. You know, being the first English club that's debt free, and now to buy players, I think it's great for the club.
But do you think Olivier Giroud is just a nicer looking shaman with more tattoos?
No, I don't think so. I think it's.
He's doubting himself.
I don't think so. I mean, whatever the other histories could be. But in terms of the players, I think they got a good set of players.
They did.
The
I still
arrival
feel they
of,
could have improved the squad a little bit more.
arrival
Could it
of
also
Steve
be
Bola, I think,
Steve Ball, yeah.
has made a lot of changes. I personally had the opportunity to see Steve Bola taking the sessions in Bukit Jalil when Arsenal came. Amazing guy. You know, and Arsene Wenger just stood at the sideline and watched Steve doing all the sessions.
Well, you
I
look at
think
the
it's a
squad, they
great-
have improved from last season.
Yeah.
Last season they were leaking goals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, that
And now
was
they're
the
not
main problem.
conceding. It's like the total
So
opposite.
last week we had this question on the show. Arsenal has one scored. And now they score and we're having the
But they got
topic.
50% of it right,
But-
you know, the other part will come.
But the
brief
thing, is,
chat
the thing is, like you said, last season they were leaking in goals left, right, and centre. They've managed to, with Koscielny, who actually would be playing if he wasn't injured instead of Mertesacker, and he's out injured.
And still the defense
And
looks
still the
solid.
defense looks solid. You've got Jenkinson at right back, who is actually not the right back because Sagna is injured. So he's playing there. And I remember when Man United beat Arsenal 8-2, he had a horrendous game.
And they didn't have
by a
backup
mile.
at that time. So right now they have depth. Basically they have depth. They look good in defense. But I'm a bit suspect of their up front because I don't think Oliver Giroud will up to the mark.
Yeah, I think if you really want to pick into it, it would be up front.
No, but
Because
then
you look-
again, you're comparing to like guys of RBP.
Not
you're
really,
saying-
not really. Okay, you look at
lost
Arsenal's,
Bentner as well.
you look at Arsenal's strike force. You've got Podolski, you've got Giroud. Okay, you've got on the bench is Park still there?
No.
Park, Bentner's gone to Juve.
Yeah.
So if one of these guys get injured, who are you relying on?
Walcott or
They look
Oxlade
at
Chamberlain.
Walcott to come
Who are you relying on? And
Chamberlain.
Giroud is not
Walcott could
scoring
be
goals.
leaving January.
Giroud's had 2 great chances in 2 matches, and he hasn't even hit the target.
It's just like, you know,
He hasn't even hit the target.
Taking his
for him.
time.
the English
Yeah,
media has
but
written.
hang on.
You need Arsenal need players to come in and score.
Bergkamp took 11, 14 games or something like that. to score
11
in the
games.
House
He's no
Squad.
Bergkamp. I
No,
can tell
but-
you that right now.
But
He's
you
no
know,
Bergkamp.
sometimes it's just getting the first one in, isn't it?
Yeah, but
the other
but-
thing about
no,
Bergkamp, if
because
you want to compare
Arsenal-
Bergkamp was a masterclass in the Dutch team. So you knew he's going to come around. But right now, Oliver Giroud is not the main man at French team as well.
No.
So yeah.
No, but you look, they
Nice
let
hair.
Robin
hair.
van Persie
That's
go.
good as well.
You let RVP go. A guy who scores you 30 goals a season. They let him go. They brought 2 strikers in who have never played in the Premier League before.
Yeah.
They need those guys to start scoring goals straight away.
Exactly.
And fair enough, Podolski, okay, he's got his goal. He's off the mark.
Should have bought Stephen Fletcher.
But those two chances that Giroud has had has been in the box, and they've been clear-cut chances. I'm sure he would have finished them in League One.
No, I
last
guess
season.
it's just time for them to gel in as well. You know, as you know, there are players who followed the team, for example, right after the Euro, who came for the pre-season, and some players did not come for the pre-season. So, you know, like what Ivan Geslis, the Arsenal CEO, was telling me. He says sometimes it takes, after the season has started,
Yeah, it happens.
good 3-4 weeks to
No
gel
doubt.
and to
Yeah,
melt.
true. It's
So
happening.
then you see what's really
No
happening.
doubt.
It's happening at Man U as
And,
well.
and you look
No
at
doubt.
RBP,
Rooney
he
is
went
not
Yeah.
fit as well.
Speaking of,
No doubt,
speaking
yeah,
of
I was
gelling-
just going to say that. If you get players that just come in and just do
Rooney
the
is not
business,
fit
like
as well.
RVP.
RVP is
Carroll had a
fit.
great game for West Ham as well last weekend. So, I mean, you get players that can come in and do it, but I'm saying the chances that he missed as a goal scorer,
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't even hit the target, that's the thing. I mean, the keeper didn't even save
Basically,
it.
it started on the wrong foot, and he's on low motivation right
Yeah.
now, basically.
But
So
he's not like he's going to get better.
Hopefully he'll bounce back and start scoring.
Well, not really.
in the
I'm
next-
a United fan.
No, of course, yeah. Hopefully. So anyway, speaking of gelling and speaking of RVP, well, the next big match was, of course, between Southampton and Manchester United. And this is what Sir Alex Ferguson and Robin van Persie had to say after the match.
Well, I mean, we didn't start playing until Paul Scholes came on the pitch, really, to be honest with you. I thought he changed the game right round. We worked all week in strength of Southampton with their back post crosses, and we lost 2 goals on it. So we give credit for that, they're good at it.
It was a bit dramatic today. We left it so late, and that was partly me to blame for, you know, because I missed a penalty in a stupid way.
Yeah, well, I was surprised because normally every time I see him take a penalty, he rattles it in the corners, which is a wee bit maybe overconfident, but we made up for it.
I think the English league is the biggest in the world, and I love this league. It's a great league. It can give you everything you want. It certainly gives me everything I want to.
No, it was a real threat. His first goal was absolutely magnificent. Control and buried right away. Really, really good goal. His header, of course, was excellent too, but no, he's going to be a terrific player for us.
So that was RVP and Alex Ferguson. So basically it was like RVP FC versus Southampton because only he was there. And where was the rest of
Well, he's in
Manchester
the thick of the
United,
action,
Ross?
wasn't
You
he?
saw?
They got out of jail. They got out of jail. But it's early days. It's very early in the season. Players were involved in the Euros. Players were involved at the Olympics. Vidic has just come back from a long injury. They're still winning. That's the important thing.
On a bad day when you're winning,
they really
it
never
shows
won,
champions
though?
quality.
Well,
It was still a win. It's still a win,
they'll come good. They'll come good. I mean, the worrying thing for me was you had players in the right positions in that game for United. Carrick was in midfield. You had Cleverley in midfield. They didn't click. but maybe it's because it's early in the season.
I think
and
also
they need
going
a
on
bit
with
more
that.
time.
They had their first choice back four.
Yeah.
It was their first choice back four. There's no excuses defence-wise. You had Evra, you had Rio, Vidic, and Rafael. So there's no excuses there.
Yeah.
But I think in saying that, these are the type of games you need to win. If United had dropped points there, I think it would prove costly later on in the season, because you look how they lost the title last season. It was a goal difference. And that 1 point, whether it was at home to Blackburn, where you fancied them getting a win, and they ended up losing. These games like that, which see where you finish in the season.
But what's worrying is what would have happened to the result if RVP wasn't there? If Menu did not have RVP.
No, well, I think there's some credit need to be given to Paul Scholes as well. Yeah. Because after he came on, the game changed. Cleverly wasn't doing much. Yeah. So yeah, like RVP said, the games just started sticking on. Players started getting the balls. We were gelling more after Paul Scholes.
Well, the passing improved in midfield, didn't it?
That's good and bad for me. It's great. Scholes came on, brought his experience. But it's sad that United relied on a 37-year-old to come on before they started playing.
Which is true. It is worrying because Cleverly is supposed to
So
take
it
in the
is a
role.
worrying situation.
Of course, because let's go. They've brought in Kagawa as well. Yeah.
But
so maybe
No, but the thing is, they're two different players, because Kagawa plays further up the field. He plays literally behind the striker. Scholes sits, he's the playmaker, distributes the ball around.
basically, Cleverly has to take on that role. That's what.
Well, he needs to take more responsibility, because he was awful in that game.
Of course. How many passes did he have?
He was
About
rubbish.
14 passes, and Scholes came on for the last 30 minutes and had like 35 passes.
It will take a couple of years to find a players like Paul Scholes.
No, but okay. Paul Scholes' ability is up there, and it'll be very hard to find another player.
But he's
in that.
37.
Yes, exactly what I'm saying. So why I think United should have signed a midfielder in the summer. We really needed a midfielder. Scholes has got another year left at United. The player that they bring in can learn off of him, see how Paul Scholes operates, how he runs the
Temporary,
midfield.
you should have brought in Kaka.
Dembele was the
But
one.
of course, the
15
fee
million
was the
for
problem,
me.
and salaries was the
Dembele was the one.
I don't think Dembele is the one that we'd be looking at.
But you know, the Southampton game, I mean, Southampton helped. For me, Atkins took off Lambert too early.
Yeah.
He was a threat all game. He was causing Vidic problems. He was winning headers.
He brought off these two players that cost him the match.
Took off Punchin as well.
Punchin.
The other
Two
good
great
player.
guys, yeah.
So
I mean, Punchin had the better of Evra the whole evening. And I don't know how many times I want to come on the show.
Yeah.
You guys out there might think it's
That's
a broken record, but every time I come on the show, I say, Patrice Evra is a liability. He's past it. And it's been happening for like 2 years now. And I keep telling Rossi, we keep having this discussion.
Butner's got to play.
I mean, he has to play. And why he let Fabio out on loan, I don't know. But
Evra got to be replaced.
he's
Evra's got to
costing
be
United
replaced.
games. He's
And-
costing United games.
Moving on to Southampton now. How awesome was Adam Lallana?
He was good.
I mean,
He's a captain,
He's a captain. He took the
He tries,
responsibility.
he tries.
And-
I think they'll survive. I hope they survive.
I have my
Very
doubts.
hard-working team.
I have my doubts only because they can't close games out. They play
but
well.
it's
They
early
play well.
season.
They play well
It's
in
early
games.
season.
You know,
it's something
Southampton-
you know, they're getting things along well, and they're playing good games. They play two big teams as well, Manchester City and Manchester United. You expect things to go not on their
No, but I'm
side,
talking
even though
about-
when they're up 2-0.
Yeah.
But you expect to get the better of the lower
Well,
half teams.
you know, I think
bottom
part of
half
the
teams.
problem is their stadium's too nice. Before, Southampton used to play at the Dell.
Yeah, the Dell
It was a pokey little stadium. You know, you could...
Literally, the
United
fans were
lost-
right next to the players.
United lost 6-3 there. Fergie blamed the away shirts.
And they changed it at half-time.
They changed it at half-time. Now St Mary's is a beautiful stadium. You know, you can see everything. It's really nice. I think small clubs rely on that a little bit.
I mean, you look at Portsmouth. Remember going away to Fratton Park?
What about
Such
Wimbledon?
Intimidating.
But
You don't want to play
basically,
there.
basically, it was United's like first team defense, you know,
Well, that was the whole thing.
Southampton was just giving
Yeah.
problems.
Well, from the off, Southampton
Yeah,
started
but
really well.
we've got this new guy coming, Alex Butner. We've not seen him play actually. Most of us don't know about him, but I think he needs to give a chance to him because we want to see Evra like on the bench for his performance.
Are you going to depend on him, you think?
No,
Really?
we're not
No,
going
I
to depend.
think he'll
No, we
make it.
think Evra deserves to be on the bench for his performance.
Yeah,
What happened last season when he had these matches? He didn't have someone on the bench to replace him. Right
I
now,
think
we
he's too
do.
complacent. That is it.
Yeah.
He's too complacent.
Yes, taken his
Week
place
in, week
probably
out, he
for
goes to
granted.
training. He knows how
Exactly,
much he plays.
exactly.
He's going to be the first guy on the shit because there's no replacement in the back. So yeah, simple as
Yeah,
that.
but I mean, there is competition this season, and they will get better. They will get Evans back. They'll get.
You never
Jones.
thought you'd be saying that.
Yeah, exactly. And Smalling.
Yeah,
Because
Ferguson was saying that
for
as
me,
well.
Ferdinand's role is going to be phased out. Yeah, he's going to be playing.
I mean, we got Phil Jones coming through. You got Chris Smalling coming through. That's going to make a massive difference. Do not forget Wayne Rooney's still not playing.
Yep.
So I mean, those are big players that still to come back, and it's going to be interesting. You can only improve.
That's not early in the season.
We still hope
like
for
I said,
Darren
it's
Fletcher,
games
though.
like this. It's games like these that make that count at the end.
Yeah.
And United will learn that. The 3 points they picked up over the weekend, I guarantee, will be crucial at the end of the season.
It'll be like wake up call.
Because it's so it's going to be so tight at the top this season. It's
But
so
knowing,
tight.
knowing Ferguson, he knows exactly.
They don't want a repeat of last season.
Exactly.
Yeah, Ferguson knows he's got
heartbreaking was
jail.
that?
Last season was so dramatic to the last wire. It was just down to the wire. Anyway, transfer window has closed, and
Not in
I
Turkey.
want to know. We want to know what?
Not in Turkey.
So I want to know your picks for transfer tops and flops. Starting with you, Stan.
Pick, of course, Van Persie. And I think
Your flop?
Michael Laudrup has been brilliant.
Okay.
And my flop is, of course, Borini. And Andres Villas-Boas, Oliver Giroud. Yeah, it's my pick.
Michu, you pick Michu as well.
Yeah, of course. He's
But why?
one
Why
of the best
AVP?
AVP?
Yeah. Andres Villas-Boas.
Has he got like 9 points out of 3?
Well, he's had a horrible transfer window, I tell you that.
Okay,
Do
Chris.
you reckon he's Peter Butler of Portugal?
Look at the players he's released when he doesn't have backup. It's already bad enough.
Yeah,
Chris,
showed bad.
tops and flops?
Tops and flops. I selected, of course, Olivier Giroud.
That's funny, Giroud and tops. You
Yeah.
I think it's a good player. Steven Pena from Everton. I think Andy Carroll is going to have a tough
He
season.
did quite good with West Ham today.
Esteban Greno, QPR, I don't see anything exciting about him. And obviously Berbatov, I think it's time for him to retire.
What? At 31?
Okay. And Ross.
I've taken Chris's once and I flipped it the other way around.
Ross, tops and flops.
What I've done was show me what I said. Yeah, there you go. Tops.
Dembele.
Dembele. I think Stephen Fletcher, a bit expensive, but I think he will score loads of goals in the Premier League for
Berbatov's
Sunderland.
the top.
Yeah, I think Berbatov, having been starved of first-team football, will do really well at Fulham. I think Clint Dempsey's move to Tottenham is ill-fated. I think he didn't want to go there. He just ended up there. Giroud, there you go. It tells itself.
And Button, of course.
and Joey Barton, the
No
poor...
need explanation.
Exactly. The
This
poor
is
French
no need
people.
explanation.
Did you see how many turn up?
Did you see the big flag they had for him?
I think move away from India is good for him, though.
Craig, your tops and your flops.
My tops and my flops, yeah. So it's not too far off from what some of these guys have said. Robert Van Persie, obviously, banging a hat-trick, 4 goals in 2 games. Awesome stuff. Similar to Berbatov, going on what Ross said, 5 million is an absolute snip for a club like Fulham. I think he'll be the main focal point of attack there. He'll score goals. Santi Cazorla, who's been one of the players of the season so far for me, great little player. Arsenal will definitely enjoy him. Flops was Chico, who I think is a liability. Barini at Liverpool, who I don't think will get him the goals. And every player that Aston Villa signed. Because all those players that they signed were from the Championship or League One. And I don't know how Paul Lambert is going to stay up in the Premier League with that team.
Okay, there you had it, the tops and the flops from the table. And coming up, we're going to go for a short break. But coming up, an interesting voicemail from you got us thinking about what's stopping our local football from being privatized. This is Bola at Mamak. Don't forget to catch Football Overload every Thursday at 9 p.m. on channel 811 and Astro Supersports HD channel 831, hosted by Adam C, Roshan Reem, and the new girl on the block, Michelle. So don't forget to catch it. Welcome back to Bola at Mama. And guys, in this segment, we actually have a voicemail from a fan, Benny from Georgetown, and this is what he has to say.
Hey guys, I'm sure you have been getting a lot of these, but supporting Malaysian football is like riding a roller coaster. At one point, I would be so proud of the league, and the next day, I could be falling out of love with it. Sometimes for no apparent reason. It's like a very bad marriage. Should I stay or should I go?
Bad marriage, should I stay or should I go? I love the way he compares.
Very well put.
That's
Very
how,
well
that's
put.
how every Malaysian football fan feels.
But the part you said no apparent reason.
we've all had that feeling at one point or another, isn't it?
Definitely.
Like, yeah, what do you think, Chris? Love-hate relationship?
Well, I think
Malaysian football?
well, I think now the love for the national team is, you know, is in a different stage of life. You know, it's a different level. They've been winning, you know, and the performance. Yeah, we're not at the superpowers of Asian level, but at least at Southeast Asian level, we are doing something. But a lot of people are probably fed up with the way the local football scenario is running, whether the league,
Yeah.
you know, the Malaysian Super League, the attitude of the players, you know, the kind of attitude of the coaches and managers as well. You know, it's a whole holistic approach to any development that takes place. It's just not single out the team or the player.
Speaking of love, just now earlier, there's a lot of love being shown to ATM as well, the Manchester City of Malaysia. And you know quite a lot about ATM because you've been quite involved with them as well. Could you explain a bit?
We are involved in ATM in the sense of we put the team together last year. We were brought in as consultants because they wanted to get out of this rot, 22 years, you know, sitting down in Premier Division 2, then FAM Cup, not going anywhere, and money is spent but no success. So we wanted to put a whole fresh idea into it. We wanted to rebrand the whole team. So I put a team together, and then we brought in the players. We brought in Satya as a coach. We wanted to build something around the team. You know, in football commercialization or private.
Can I ask, did
Sure.
you overspend?
No, we
Is it
did
all
not.
within budget?
It's all within the budget. We did
Is
not.
it worth
we
it?
did not. Yes, definitely
Worth
it
it?
is.
Reach
It's
the
worth the
target?
Oh,
money.
the champions,
We,
weren't they?
Yeah.
the only target that we had or was given to us to become Premier 2 champions, which we did. We wanted to be in the Malaysia Cup. We are in the Malaysia Cup. We
What are
signed
the targets for the Malaysian Cup? I mean, obviously, like you spend all this money, you've got some really.
To be honest, the kind of players that we have, and we looked at it, Satya put a quarter-finals target, which I think is a very fair target to come from Premier 2. Anything more than that will be bonus. We put the whole commercial team into place, right from sponsorship, taking care of the sponsors, day-to-day match. We started engaging with fans through social media platforms.
Is it very different what you guys are doing at ATM to KL, to Selangor, or all the other clubs? How
Yes,
different
it is. It is very different, Ross, simply because we have a full commercial team that works at the stadium before the match, after the game. We look into our sponsors' hospitality rooms. We give them that kind of benefit being a sponsor to the team. We deal with them. We send them invitation card to the matches. We send them the match tickets. We make the phone calls.
It's like a European. It's a European concept that
like
you take it.
professional.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's what they
we
do in
make the
England.
phone calls.
or
We
anywhere
make the
across
phone
Europe.
call and ask us, hey, are you coming for the game? If you're not coming, what can we do? You know, do you want to do something? And you know, some of the sponsors that we work with, we even take the ATM players to the factory, to the HQ to do a ground activation, to work with the local fans. Our social Facebook development has done fantastic. I think I'm very proud of it. 17,000 followers on the Facebook. We started from zero.
But you look at your. I mean, like at the start, I can't imagine you had many fans. But now, what's your attendance on average?
Well, average, we play at Selayang. We played against Kelantan. We had 18,500 people. Of course, about 8,000 were ATM fans, 10,000 Kelantan fans. But then again,
That's still great. That's a good.
you know, yeah, and putting all those things together in terms of package, I think it's been a great year for us.
Basically, what you learned from Cardiff City, is it?
Well, to be honest with
Apply
you,
here.
whatever I've learned from Cardiff and from my experience in terms of being in football for 10 years, as I worked in FAM for 10 years, I've only applied 35% of what I've learned in Cardiff here.
You've got to adapt it. It's Malaysia, isn't it?
Because
Yeah.
you know, there are a lot of things that can be done in Cardiff. It will not work
Work here,
exactly
yeah.
now. It will work, but the timing is just not right
But do
here.
you think it takes just one club to maybe kickstart something like this, and all the clubs will follow suit, or do you think it's because you guys have the financial backing that most clubs can't do it?
See, the thing is, a lot of states, they have the financial backing, but how well are you spending your money? Are you within
That's
the
the
budget?
million-dollar
Most of
question.
the time, you have the budget, you burst your bubble.
Yeah.
You're not within the budget. And because you're not within the budget, you don't pay your EPF, you don't pay your income tax,
Yeah.
you don't pay the bonus on time,
Yeah.
and all the promises you make.
I've just got one question. The moment you get a budget at the end of early season, just say you get a certain amount of budget. At the end of the season, how do you sustain the money? or do you get profit out of it, or are you losing money at the end of the season right now? I mean,
Because
in
it's
Malaysian
our
football, yeah.
it's our first season. Definitely we are on the break even actually, to be honest.
That's
Because all the money we came to a conclusion that whatever funds that we have not necessarily will be spent on the first team because we got a reserve team. They need the funds too. All right. If you look at the Malaysia Cup transfer, Armed Forces is the only team that never signed any player, never took players on loan. We promoted 5 players from the reserve league. And that speaks for itself.
Yeah. So,
you know,
in terms of your ROI, what do you do?
In terms of return of investment for us, is very simple. We have the KPIs, key performance indicators. We have 16 points that I need to achieve. That's done. That is put together with my team. And so far, I think we have reached 12 points. We got another 4 to go. That 4 is based on Malaysia Cup performance.
Right.
ROI is very simple, straightforward. Number 1 is engagement with the fans. We get back the feedbacks from the fans. Even next year's 2013 JZ is going to be designed by the fans. We are running a contest. We want the fans to come and tell us.
It's very interactive.
We want the fans to come and tell us what kind of JZ you would like to have.
Yeah.
What JZ you want to wear.
Including colour and everything.
Whichever. The colours are core colours maintained, but in terms of design. So we have given them various designs. You come up with it. What kind of ground activation you would like to take place at the stadium? This year we spent about 100,000 ringgit. We gave away iPads, iPhones, MacBook, and lucky draws at the stadium. We gave away motorbikes in the final match.
Oh,
I'm watching
wow.
it.
Yeah, let's go next match.
So, you know, and we did a lot of stuff with the media as well. So it is about engaging. We want to engage.
So okay, now you're at the top table. Next season, what are the ambitions? Top 3, win the league.
Well, next year we don't want to get demoted. That's to be reasonable as well. We're going to work within the same budget. They are 17% higher in terms of value, but you know we are looking at trying to finish top tier finish. Maybe if you ask me personally, with Satya, we're even looking at trying to get a spot for AFC Club Championship. I mean, why not?
Why not? Yeah.
Why
That's
not?
a good,
You are there. Why not look at it?
Well, I think the players that you have are majority national players, or they've played at the highest level, and the team there is good enough to play in the Super League without doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, you won the
They
Premier
will
League.
play in the Super League, actually.
They won the Premier League comfortably,
Yeah.
and then like in the Super League, like next season, you're gonna definitely
Well,
mount a
there are
title
players
challenge.
knocking. Right now, the cycle is very different. In the initial stages, it was quite difficult convincing the players to come and play because you're playing the
Dropping
Super
down
League,
the division.
to come and play in the
Going down to
Premier
play
League.
Premier League.
Why?
And like I said, they were all national players.
Yes,
a lot
exactly.
Of them.
Now we got players knocking at our doors. Hey, we would like to play for you. It's just not about dollars and cents. It's also about players giving their commitment and having the right manager to take the best out of the player.
Okay, and this is what some Facebook fans have got to say about what's stopping Malaysian football from being privatized. Roy Lim, Shafiq, Karim, Nizam, Archibald, Kavin, Jayaram all says it's FAM. And Muhammad Ashami, because most of the football clubs depend on FAM grant each year except for Kelantan, definitely a Kelantan fan there. Ismail Faris, first and foremost, FAM must stop spoon-feeding state FAs. Abdul Muradi Hafiz Muhammad says Malaysians don't have the appetite to support local commercial entities sports club.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, Ismail Hajino says privatization means money, money means business, business equals profit, and he doesn't see it coming out from Malaysian football. And Ragu PG says football in Malaysia can only improve when politicians stay out of it.
Well, fair.
Some truth in
fair
there.
Some truth in there, yeah. Politics and
You
football.
see, one must understand that the local football works quite uniquely compared to the other clubs. The others are clubs. We are state governed. When you are state governed, the first book of the rule is your Menteri Besar becomes a president. And that cannot change because it is in the law, it is in the statutes. Now, what clubs can do is moving away from, which we are aspiring to do, from a football association become a football club. What does a football association do? A football association deals with players' contract, salaries, blah, 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 blah. The football club takes care of the commercial part of the game. As we are aware, in football, 40% is the game. The remaining 60% is what happens around the game. You know?
But privatization, what is stopping Malaysian football from being privatized?
In a nutshell, the governing body.
FA.
I think because football is run by state associations, like what Chris said. If you privatize, if we had 20 clubs contesting for the league title, it will be more competitive. It will be a level playing field.
Level playing field, yeah, that's the main thing.
And I think state associations should look after the game in the state. You know,
the other big problem actually is, probably Chris would know this, is the awareness of companies. For them, it's ROI, number one. They don't know, like, if they're going to put their money, if they're going to get back the money. They're really scared to come into this business.
It's a scary business.
So you need people to go out there and explain to them, like, what they're doing. You know, so
Kelantan
they're setting an
Just
example.
to add on,
Kelantan
right?
have a little bit different from most teams, aren't they?
Yeah, of course.
I mean,
Kelantan is at a different stage altogether. You know, it's a different. But you see, the thing is, you must realize football is business. You cannot run football as non-governmental organization. You know, today, tomorrow. You can't do that. Football is business. Because football is business, that's why you get people coming giving 30 million, 35 million to run it as business. And therefore, you got to run football as a private entity. Which means
from top to bottom.
Exactly. And if it happens to be that, look, in my management team, I have chartered accountants, I have lawyers who vet through my accounts, audit through my accounts, and that's what professionalism means.
So how can we make it happen?
Yeah, the other thing is, it's two very different things in Malaysian football, even though in running the same league. Club FC, a football club, and a state FA run team. Basically, like Kelantan is saying, if they're doing well, you're going to have supporters. I'm born in Kelantan, I'm going to support. But ATM, who's born in ATM, don't exist like that. So basically, you need to draw fans. So it's a whole different ball game. How do you bring fans to stadium? So it's more hard work than the state
where the commercial thing comes into it.
Because there's loyalty. You're born in Perak, you're born in Selangor. It's automatically.
So for us, I mean, I would say, for example, ATM, our fan base is purely the defense service. Because that is the reason when we travel to other states for matches, we do not train in the stadium. We make it a point to train at the respective defense base. And
theoretically, you should be the biggest club in the country.
Yeah, because we have 200,000 followers. That's a defense strength in terms of civil service. But you don't get that kind of, I mean, being the biggest, but probably that's what the following is. But then again, you got friends in Kelantan, in Perak will support. But we are happy to go to any army camp and train. And we get kids coming to Ideal, coming to Hairudin. You know, it means a lot for the children as well.
Well, I think what you do a lot of community stuff within the community, which brings the fans closer.
Exactly.
I think, like you said, training in those kind of places, I think it's very different from training into a stadium, where the access to players is very limited, and don't get that closure.
There is no need, right, to play like, for example, you know, some teams who would like to play in a big stadium. Why do you play in a stadium of 60,000 capacity when you got 500 fans?
Yes,
if you're lucky.
It looks so empty.
It looks empty. It doesn't look on TV.
It looks
It doesn't look from a commercial point of view. You should be playing, and that's the reason for next season, Armed Forces, I mean, you know, part of the planning, we're trying to adopt a stadium. We want to have our own stadium. I mean, yes, in Malaysia, all the stadiums belong to the state government or local authorities, but you take Inter Milan and AC Milan, they share the same stadium. So why is it not possible in Malaysian football? At the end of the day, it can be done. You have to have the willpower, and you got to stay motivated to say it can be done. That's how
we definitely have to bring this to the next session.
Sorry, I think a lot of them are just set in their ways and they don't like changes.
So hopefully one day it will change.
Hopefully, I think we all want it for the best for Malaysian football.
For the best of the sport. Okay, we're going to go for a short teeny-weeny break, but coming up, winner of the Nike The Chance Malaysia, Rahmat. He's back from Barcelona and we'll get him to spill his entire experience of competing with 99 other boys from all over the world. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Bola and Mama. And you know what? We have always been seeing this boy on videos from his journey from Malaysia to Barcelona, but now we have him in flesh. Welcome, Rahmat Sheikh Hashim. He's the winner from Nike The Chance Malaysia. So Rahmat, apa cerita, macam mana experience dekat Barcelona? Cerita sikit.
Are they rubbish?
Lousy.
No.
Do you run rings around them?
Bila saya pergi ke sana, saya dapat tahu banyak pengalaman yang mungkin bukan semua orang yang dapat di sana. Dan seperti yang kita tahu, I'm the chosen one, go to the Barcelona and get something, you know. Maybe here I need to share all the Malaysian footballers the experience when I go there.
Okay, lepas tu, you know, because Rahmat was there with 99 other boys from all over the world. So communication, was it a problem in Barcelona?
Yeah, I think for me there's a funny moment, you know, when disediakan dengan satu bilik dengan player Thailand daripada Thailand, so maybe dia tak reti sangat cakap bahasa Inggeris dan just Thailand language dan just I need to speak that like you, me, like just like you, me, eat 1:30. So there's something like no, like that.
So sign language.
Yeah, just sign language.
Did he give you massage? Massage.
And, I found out this quite interesting story from Rahmat. There was actually a Kelantan fan in Barcelona. Apa tu, tak faham? Explain.
Okay. The best part, the beginnings of my journey, right? After I received the airport in Barcelona, and then actually one of the Kelantan fans from Spanish boy, the name is Jordi Perez, something like that. Dia connect dengan bloggers di Kelantan dan dia dapat tahu yang saya dapat pergi one of the Kelantan's boy dapat pergi ke Barcelona Spanish, and he excited to know me and he add me at Facebook, and then just chatting. Then maybe one day before I go to Barcelona, and then I'm not expect that he go to the airport just to just say hello for me. 150 kilometers from his house.
Wow!
And I come here to just
That's
say,
like Ipoh KL.
Yeah. And I come just go down to the flight, and then I go out to the airport, and I see the Kelantan JC.
Really?
What is that? There's something like wow, it's interesting for me. It's very great.
Cool.
That is
So now-
so special.
So now all the Barcelona players know about Kelantan.
Kelantan, the Red Warrior. Okay, Rahmat. Since Stanley is the professional player here, I know that you have a question for Stanley. So what's your question for Stanley?
Actually, you know, I'm a striker also. I hear that you are a striker. So maybe I can ask you about your advice for me to continue my career after this. You know, because you know, many people ask me what are you going to after this, and obviously I said that I want to play football. So I want to ask you your advice for me.
Firstly, I would like to congratulate you on making the top 100.
Thank you.
It's a great achievement by itself.
Yeah,
And the other thing is, I think at 24, it's not too late, but it's not as young as the rest. But in Malaysian football, it's never too late, I guess. So what you got to do is you got to, you know, set yourself, getting yourself fit and prepare for a different level of football that you have not played before. You may see on TV, it's all Malaysian football, but when you come to it, it's really tough. So my advice to you is like, you got to get yourself ready. Try to get yourself, you got someone like Christopher Raj here who can help you out. To get you trials with one of the state teams, Super League, Premier League, you got to start somewhere. Yeah, basically, and then go for it from there. See where it goes. But give a try. Yeah.
Nice, short and sweet advice. We are
He
out
will
of
teach you
time.
how to miss a lot of goals.
That
you,
Ross is
Stanley.
king. You should watch him play.
That Ross misses the ball.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Completely.
Thank you, Stanley. Thank you. Finally, good advice, short and sweet. Thank you, Chris. It's your debut. It's definitely good having you here. Hope to see you here more time in the future. Yeah. And Rahmat, finally we get you on the show. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Ross.
Yeah, don't listen to Stanley.
And thank you, Craig.
Pleasure as always.
Yeah. And thank you for watching. Don't forget to email us, Facebook us, and Skype us at Bola at Mamak. See you again soon. Bye.